Chip H. from Atlanta, Georgia.
I meant to do that. That was. How do you follow the countdown? Oh, Lord. Congratulations. Oh, my name is Chip Houston, and I'm an alcoholic. I am so excited to be here. Oh, my God. I'm feeling good in San Diego. This is so good. I want to thank the committee for asking me to come way out of here and share my experience, my strength, and my hope. I'm so excited and honored, and it's truly an honor. My sobriety date, before I forget it, y'all, my sobriety date is January 2nd, 1986. I am 47 years old the end of this month, and I've been sober a little over half my life. I have grown up in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm so very grateful that y'all let me stay, because I wasn't a pretty drunk. And I got to share with y'all. I missed my plane coming out here, and I got to share it. It was so funny. I was cleaning the house all night because I got a cat, and the cat lady that keeps the cat, she's also a house cleaner, so I could not let my house cleaner see the house a mess. So I got to the airport a little late. You know, me and God was not cooperating, and I want to share, it was really interesting because I missed the flight, my own fault. And there were 6 other people that missed it because the AirTran messed up. And we went to the little special desk, and everybody was mad and screaming and hollering. And I was just sitting there kind of, oh, girl, I missed my old plane. This is my old asshole. Y'all just don't know. And I'm standing there thinking, somebody didn't pray for patience. Or maybe they did. Maybe they did pray for patience. And I'm standing there and I'm thinking, okay, God, we got to speak on Sunday, and this is Friday. And it was so neat. We rented a car. I didn't know none of these people. We rented a big old SUV and drove from LAX all the way to San Diego, rush hour traffic on Friday, on Labor Day. We had the best time, y'all. 4.5 hours. And we just had a good time, so it was fun. I said, okay, God, what is my task at that point was to entertain these people. Because they were mad and they were complaining in the car. They said, I'm going to write a letter. Girl, me too. I'm going to write myself a letter. Oh, Lord. I'm going to write myself a letter. Because I was about to say 23 years old. I've been cussing all of them, but got to be real because somebody told me I got to tell the truth. About 5 years ago, I'd probably cussed them all out. And that's the truth. Like I said, I had grown up in Alcoholics Anonymous. I come from Atlanta, Georgia. We got 2 Southern speakers. This is so cool. I have really thoroughly enjoyed this roundup. And I got to hear Patty O's story again, and I'm honored to be here. I love to laugh. I love to keep my sense of humor because I think we need it. I need that sense of humor in the midst of the pain. I come from Atlanta, Georgia, like I said, on the south side of town. It was the poor side of town. And I never felt like I fit in with anybody or anything. I was never good enough. All my life, I just didn't conform. And I just didn't fit in, and I couldn't understand why. And I still live a little bit outside the box today. I don't conform. I don't like it. I have sometimes trouble with labels because I ride a motorcycle and I drive a truck, and I don't fit into the stereotype queen. You know, And I have to find my place in Alcoholics Anonymous and my place in the gay community. And, I am a little bit of everything. In the seventh, my job at school was to be the class clown. Because if you saw the laughter, you wouldn't see the pain. That was my role. My parents fought all the time. I come from a very violent home. My parents, they fought all the time. Oh my God, they just knocked down drag-outs, frying pans flying, and hammers going, and I learned to escape. Way before drugs and alcohol in my life, I learned to escape. And I believe I was an alcoholic just waiting on to take that first drink. And I take that first drink about 14 years old, and before that, I got to share this with you. I was about in the 7th grade, and I always knew I was a little different. I was playing with boys since a long time ago. And I got caught in the woods in 7th grade. It was the last day of the day before the last day we got out for summer. And a lot of my friends, I was very popular in school, and a lot of my friends, they were going down to smoke cigarettes in the woods, and I was not smoking cigarettes. And they caught me, and they told the principal. And that next day, the principal called me in his office, and he said, you can't do that at school. Okay. And I thought, oh, shit. I was suspended, and he took me home, and it was the last day of the 7th grade, and my mother was getting ready for work. Both my parents worked, and she was getting ready for work, and he took me home, and she said, what's going on? He said, I'd rather talk to Mr. Houston about this. Tell him to call me. And oh my God, it was awful. When he came home, my dad came home, and he said, men don't do that, no matter what. You're not a man if you do it. And he said, I want you to swear on your mother's life that you'll never do this again. And instead of getting punished, I said, okay. Knowing it was a lie, because it was who I am. It's who I was. And that summer between high school and elementary, that changed my life after that day, because I made that promise, and that was the only kind of guilt that I had about being a homosexual man, because I had sworn on my mother's life because she was still alive. But I had that awful pain, and Leslie talked about it last night, about being a Southern Baptist growing up. Oh my God. I wanted to be Catholic too. I thought I was the only one. I was jealous of the Catholics. Y'all were so lucky. Y'all got to drink the wine and have sex. See, the grass is always greener. Yeah. I started doing drugs, and I thank God for drugs and alcohol, because they truly saved my life. I believe that. I believe I would have committed suicide if I didn't have the drugs and the alcohol. And sometimes I get a little emotional, and I've learned to make that an asset, because if I can feel it, I can heal it. And y'all have taught me that. If you're new or coming back, to the newcomers, oh, bless your heart. You don't ever have to do this again. We want you, we love you, and we need you. You are the lifeblood of Alcoholics Anonymous. The lifeblood. Frequent contact with you is the bright spot of my day. I love Alcoholics Anonymous. And I hope that transmits something. Sorry. I took a drink. My parents, like I said, they fought all the time, and my dad was a traveling salesman, and we was really glad when he traveled. Thank God, a quiet moment. Weeks. And I used to lay in the bed, and I share this with you because it's just who I was, and give you a little example. But I would lay in the bed when they would fight, and they would put me in their bedroom, because I slept downstairs, and they didn't think we could hear them fighting. So they put me in their bedroom, and I knew what was happening. And I would lay in the bed, and I would pray that that he would die. And that became a pattern in my life with him, my father, for well into sobriety. And I wish I could tell you it stopped right into sobriety, but it didn't. And when I was about 11 years old, the across the street neighbor, his father died. I was so mad at God. He got the wrong house. Y'all just don't. He got the wrong house. Hello, that's the story of my life. Here I am. Damn, he got that. And he was really sad, and I was mad. When I got to high school, I was harassed because so many people knew that I got suspended for having sex in the woods. And I was harassed and called queer and faggot and queer bait every single day for 3.5 years until I quit high school. And I did a lot of drugs in high school. I know this is an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, but I did a lot. If you had it, I did it. It didn't matter. But I loved alcohol. I loved anything else. Whatever you had, it don't matter. What was it? I don't care. And my favorite, I just loved it. And I had a girlfriend, and we was trying to hide, and she had heard the rumors, and she was kind of butch. And I kind of felt safe, and, we never talked about anything, but she got a girlfriend she was in the 12th grade, and I was in the 10th. And she came out to me, and I came out to her, and we went to senior night at Six Flags over Georgia, a little amusement park, because that's just what straight couples do. And she said, I got a place we need to go. And it was 1977. I was 15 years old, and she took me to the Sweet Gum Head in Atlanta, Georgia. It was a drag bar. And there was men dancing with men and women dancing with women, and it was phenomenal. I walked in that bar, and they let me in. They said, come on in. 15 years old and 70. Shh. I was young and dumb, and y'all know the rest. And I felt like I felt when I walked into Alcoholics Anonymous. I was home. These were my peoples. They was tall drag queens. They were tall. And I was so grateful to be there. Oh, my God, it was wonderful. And the bartender asked me, I'll never forget it. He said, I hope I don't. He said, what do you want to drink? And I said, I don't know. I don't know. And I said, screwdriver. And he looked at me like he was mad. I said, what in the hell? That was Anita Bryant the days. And they didn't have no orange juice. Oh, no. I didn't know. I was just, okay, give me I didn't know what was in a screwdriver. Good God, I didn't know. Okay, give me a vodka something. Shit. I know vodka. I don't know nothing else. And that very shortly after that is when I started. It didn't take me long. I started that short road of alcoholism. Because when I drank, I felt 6 feet tall and bulletproof. I was beautiful. I could dance and keep my clothes on. That came later. And I didn't hear them voices in my head, and I didn't hear the harassment, and I didn't hear my parents saying I was stupid. They labeled me learning disabled in school, and they didn't realize anything about attention deficit disorder at that time. They said I was slow and told my parents I probably wouldn't go far in life, and they bought it. And what made it worse is I bought it. And my parents, both my parents were child of alcoholics. My grandparents, both my grandfathers were alcoholics, and I had a good connection with them. I loved them people. Oh, they were wonderful. My mother's mother, my mother's father, sorry, he was the type of drunk that they'd lock him in the bedroom. They would lock him in the bedroom, and I would get in trouble for finding the key and going in there, and he'd be drunk and he'd roll his own cigarettes, and he smelled terrible in the room, but I loved it. And we got in trouble for going in there and playing checkers. And I connected with alcoholics. I didn't know it at the time, but I did. After that first drink at the bar, my life truly changed after that, because I found a peace, and it was really weird because I was harassed at school Monday through Friday, and then Friday night and Saturday night we'd go to the bar, and I started that double life. The double life actually started a long time ago, but it was more confirmed that there was more people like me and like you, because it was a horrible existence. And I tried to deal drugs, and I tried to have a lot of alcohol on me, because I thought if I shared my alcohol and drugs in the morning, they wouldn't yell at me and call me faggot and queer, and that didn't work. They just took my drugs and the alcohol. They didn't care. And I have to share this too, because it's on my heart. I never went to jail. I never got a DUI. I never did a lot of things that a lot of alcoholics did, because I was young and I wasn't caught. And I didn't think I was an alcoholic because I was young and didn't get caught. And I used to tell my sponsor when I got here that I wasn't an alcoholic, and she said, I think you might be. Just keep coming back. And my parents put me in treatment. It was just a horrible time, and I don't have to go into the details because y'all know the details in a general way. My parents put me in treatment in 1981. It was December, and I didn't want to be there because I was detoxing. I wanted my drugs and my alcohol, and I didn't like, it was awful. I didn't want to be there. But I went to my first AA meeting, and I saw something in your eyes. I saw the peace. I saw the love. And of course, I didn't want to be there, so I had to go. And they let me out of the treatment center. It was 1982. And I went to meetings. And I had it in my heart that I was going to stay sober. But I wouldn't let go of the old playmates in the playground. Them old playmates. Y'all told me to get rid of them. Don't go there. And I got out of the hospital on January 17th. And by February 16th, my dad's birthday, all them holidays and birthdays, we're going to get drunk. And I got drunk. I went over to some friends of mine's house, and we got drunk. And I said, oh, my God, I relapsed. And that started a pattern that lasted for a long time. I was in and out of this program. If you're new or coming back, baby, you're always welcome back if you make it back, but you might not make it back. I hope and pray that you do. I hope and pray that you don't have to go out. I'm amazed with the way Alcoholics Anonymous has saved my life many, many times. I wish I could to the newcomer, I wish I could just tell you that the promises are much more than just the 9-step promises that we read at the meetings. There's promises for all them steps. I'll be rocketed to living with wildest dreams, happy, joyous, and free in San Diego. Beyond my wildest dreams. In 1983, I rocked on, and they used to call me White Chip because in Atlanta we have the chip system, and they give out them chips for the gambling with your life, them poker chips. And I had enough chips. I'd come in every time, enough to decorate a bathroom. And they kept on saying, come back. We love you, we want you, we need you. Come back. And I did. In 1983, I decided, I said, this is enough. I'm done. And I picked up another one. I told y'all people I was clean and sober, and I went to meetings, and I lied to y'all people, and I told you I was clean and sober, and I sponsored you, and I chaired meetings, and I drank on the weekends, and I did drugs on the weekends, and I did that for 2.5 years. And it was one of the most challenging, hardest times in my life. Because I used to judge my bottom to everybody else's bottom. You know. Not now, but because I said, this is crazy. I'm watching all these people that I got sober with. I really wasn't sober, but they were. And they were changing and growing, and the promises were happening. And I was stuck. And I did that until January 2nd, 1986. And January 2nd, 1986, a girlfriend of mine called, and it was a horrible time with me. That Christmas was horrible. I was living with a roommate that was so happy and sober, and we had a Christmas party, and I was trying to be happy, that fake smile. I'm fine. How you doing? And they all knew I was drinking. They didn't care. They just said, "We love you." And on January 2nd, this friend of mine called, and I was working a little hospital job, and she said, "I'm going to get drunk." I said, "Oh, come on over." And she came over. She was drunk. And she told me, she said, "I just want to die. I just want to die." And when she said that, a moment of truth, I had that moment of clarity that I knew I couldn't go on, that moment of truth. And I looked at her and I said, "Don't you know that sometimes God don't let alcoholics die? We got to live with this." Because I wanted to die so desperately bad. But I have to tell the truth. I was afraid to kill myself because I just wasn't for sure what was on the other side for suicide. And I wasn't brave enough to find out, thank God. And it was the loving God that intervened at that moment. And she looked at me and she said, "Would you be my sponsor?" And I said, "Girl, I can't be your sponsor. I'm right with you." And I couldn't tell her, though, because I just couldn't tell her. And I called my sponsor on the phone, and I thank God for the women in Alcoholics Anonymous, because I was so deathly afraid of men. Deathly afraid, because men had harassed me. And men were sex or harassment. They wasn't nothing else. I didn't need them. I didn't like them. Y'all get the hell. Sex or harassment. Wasn't nothing else. And this woman took me on, and she was so wonderful. She died in prison. But she took me on. And I called her, and she was a butch woman. She looked like Elvis Presley. And she was like a mama to me, and a daddy. She was this all. Because I believe that the God of my understanding or not understanding, I usually say this out loud when I first start, but I forgot. If the word God offends you, it is not my intention. I use God because it's just easier than saying higher power, a power greater than us, infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it. It don't matter. Buddha, la 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 la. But I call mine Great Spirit God, G-O-D, good orderly direction. I was mad at God when I got here because God didn't let me die, and God made me gay. And I didn't have any problem with it. I thought I didn't have no problem with being gay. Only thing because of my mama's life, she's still alive today. And so if the word God offends you, if you're new, find the God of your understanding. That's what y'all told me. We want you, we love you, and we need you. Find the God, the power that's greater than yourself that can help you solve your problems. And for a long time, I used group of drunks, G-O-D, group of drunks, because y'all was powerful, more than me. And I called my sponsor that wonderful day, January 2nd, 1986, and I was sitting on the table, and I told her my truth. And she looked at me, and I was crying, and she was crying, and she said, "Finally!" We knew. Finally. It took you long enough. What are you going to do? And I said, So it was January 2nd, and where I got sober at the Galano Club in Atlanta, Serenity Group. I got sober with gay AA, go figure. And I'm so grateful for it, for the people the alcoholics that had the nerve to start before me. I'm truly honored. And y'all taught me when I got here. I think we coddle the newcomers sometimes, but y'all told me to shut up and sit down. You don't have nothing I want. You don't have nothing to say. Shut up. You ain't spreading nothing but disease. We got enough of that. Shut up. But I went to that meeting that night, and I think she had something to do with it, but she said she didn't. But the topic was on honesty, and I look back on it now, and I think it's because it's the first of the month, and that's the first step, and it's the first step is principle, it's honesty. So it got about, the meetings go in Atlanta from 8 to 9, and it got about 10 minutes to 9, and she leaned over to me and shouldered me. Don't you think it's time to share? Right sized. And I looked at the floor, and I looked at everybody's shoes when I first got there because I couldn't look you in the eye. And I looked at the floor, and I hope I never forget that either. I was looking at the floor, and I started to tell y'all people that I lied to y'all. For 2.5 years, I went to y'all's meetings, and I sponsored people, and I had 2 sponsees in the room that I didn't tell. And my biggest fear was that y'all was going to kick me out of Alcoholics Anonymous. We don't want you here. Get out. You lied. And such a healing transpired that night. Such a healing. Because when I raised my head, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Everybody was crying too. It was just phenomenal. Oh my God. Y'all just got me. And I've stayed. I'm so grateful I stayed. I got sober at 23, and it's been a rocky road, girls. Let me tell you, I was jealous of y'all people that came in at 45 and 47 and 42. I'm sorry, I was jealous because I had to live with y'all, and it's hard to grow up in public. If you're new, young, hang on, baby. Hang on, because it's the best. It was the best. They said the best years are ahead of you. And I look at that woman, 25, got sober at 25, now she got 52. Oh, Lord, hey. Congratulations. I'm going to be there. God willing, don't drink and don't die. But we got to carry on the torch. And I've had some wonderful, loving teachers, and I cannot forget them. Y'all taught me to sit down and shut up. Restraint of tongue and pen way before I knew what the hell the 10th step was. Shut up. And it was so hard. And there were so many things. Most of the people told me when I got to Alcoholics Anonymous to stay away from my family because they were not healthy for me, and I just wasn't. I wanted to listen, and I tried to listen, but when it come to the family, if y'all ever been from abusive homes, y'all know it's hard to walk away. And I wanted that love. And my parents continued to be a part of my life. And the love-hate relationship with my father continued way on into sobriety. And every time I got mad at him and he got mad at me on the phone, he would put in my consciousness, he said, as long as you're gay, you'd never have nothing and be nothing. Since I was 18 years old, he said that. And that's hard on a person. And he said that till I was about 42. The last time he said it at 42, he hadn't said it since. And then after that didn't work with him, when the AIDS virus first came out, he would say, I wish you'd get AIDS and die. And didn't have enough Alcoholics Anonymous in my heart to walk away. What I was born with was conflicted conflict. They gave me conflict. They didn't have... Alcoholics Anonymous taught me to say what I mean and mean what I say. To live my life with integrity as an open book. And sometimes I share things in meetings that I probably shouldn't share. And that's okay, because I live with an open book and I've learned what I need to share, I share. But y'all taught me that it's not okay. That is not okay. And I think the reason I was sharing this with you, on my 26th birthday, my sister called, and we were going down to their house to cook out and eat. Because Southern eats, they're going to eat. Southern people eat for anything. If it's Groundhog's Day, they're going to eat together. Come on over here and eat. And we were going to have a birthday, and my sister called me, and she said she didn't want me to hug her kids because she was afraid they'd get AIDS. And that was, I was looking, trying to remember the dates. It was about 1988 or 89, and you know, we didn't know nothing. And I was working in a hospital. I was taking care of AIDS patients, and they didn't want anything to do with that, with their children. And that hurt my heart. I didn't speak to my family for about a year after that. I took it to a meeting, and y'all helped me and loved me through it. Loved me through it. One of the main reasons I share that, because 20 years later, this past Thanksgiving, my niece called, the same one that I couldn't hug. And we had long made up, and I could hug her kind of halfway. And I kind of still remembered it. And she said she didn't want me to pick up her baby that was 9 months old, because she was teething and was afraid she'd get AIDS. And I was able to repeat, I didn't repeat what I did 20 years ago. Because of the growth and the people that loved me when I got here. And I found myself just last year trying to convince this stupid, ignorant woman, college educated, that you can't get AIDS picking up a baby. The baby can't get it. And I really wanted to tell her all this stuff, and there was a little voice, and when I listened to that voice within, that God spot, and today I sometimes, not all the time, I sometimes know the difference, but I knew it. And that God spot said, shut up. Restraint. You don't have to convince this woman. She's ignorant. This is my niece. She's 20 years old. She's college educated. And I wanted to tell her what I wanted to tell her, y'all. Bitch, you can't get it from that. You know, because I'm not that well. I don't even want to cuss her out, you know. Dude, let me get that. But the program come on and kicked in with, sort of like at the airport. You know, I'm not that well. I'd have to draw on my experience, because I've had that. I had that experience. I didn't speak to them folks for a year and a half. And now here it was. I wanted to tell her, you know, baby, they don't test in the medical community for AIDS. Your doctor might have it. Your nurse that delivered the baby might have it. So I didn't, because I didn't want to put any more fear in that woman's life. And I took it to the meeting again in Alcoholics Anonymous, and y'all loved me through it. Y'all reaffirmed to me that no matter what happens in my life today, I don't have to drink and I don't have to drug, no matter what. There is absolutely nothing that me and you and God can't get through, can't handle. I wish I could tell you that my life has been happy, joyous, and free and wonderful, and it's been so good. And girl, that is not mine. I'm sorry, that is just not mine. I love Alcoholics Anonymous, and I've worked real hard, and it's been the most rewarding thing in my life. It has been the most incredible journey. The most incredible journey, and I know y'all can relate because you've been on there with me all over the world. Alcoholics Anonymous exists. I don't know how many countries we are in now, but we're in a bunch of countries. And we're all united. No matter where I go, Alcoholics Anonymous is there. No matter where I go. When we get to a meeting and I sit down and I look in your eyes and I say, I'm an alcoholic, and you say, you know all about me, and I know all about you. I'm so thankful. At 21 years sobriety, I have to share that. Okay, I'm going to share it. At 21 years of sobriety, I was suicidal. I found myself penniless. And I didn't want to live. I had moved from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I lived there about 18 years. That was a big part of my story. It was really funny. A lot of people come to Florida to drink and drug, and I never drank and drugged in Florida because I lived there sober. And they helped me grow up. And I sold a condo in 2005, and I had a lot of money because, you know, that's the real estate. Boom, girl. Sell it. And a couple of people, they said, you know, you might want to hang on to it. But I didn't. I sold it. And I got $60,000. And that was a lot of money to me at one time. They said it'd be wired to your account. I said, girl, here I am. I am 20 years sober. Well, 19. And I had me $60,000 all at once, together. I didn't steal it. And what happened to me was I played that big shot. And I played that big shot. The things that y'all did sober, a lot of times that y'all did drunk, I had to do sober. I didn't have to. I chose to. I made some foolish decisions with my money and with my life. And everybody said, oh, okay, baby, hold on to it. Oh, no, I went on 3 or 4 cruises. I had a good time. Bought me a lot of clothes that I didn't have. And when that money was all gone, here I was. I had let that money be my God. And I had let that money be in front of my sobriety. And I lost that money. I didn't lose my sobriety by the grace of God and a loving fellowship. But I was suicidal, and I didn't want to tell y'all people. I was too proud and too ashamed. I wasn't really proud. I was ashamed. That ego on the other side. And I had tested positive when I was 17 years sober. And that really rocked my world as well, and I did not want to live. Here I was. What am I going to do? How did this happen? And it was March 12th of 2008 that I started my journey to live again. I did not want to take HIV medicine because a lot of times in my sobriety in my life I've studied a lot of alternative medicines, and I didn't think that I needed them. And everybody told me I did, and you know, I fought, and I still struggle with that today, y'all. I'm not going to lie to you, honey. I still struggle with that daily. But it's a whole lot better today because I know I didn't want to take them HIV medicine, and I didn't want to live, and I really had to do some work on healing and forgiveness, and I forgave the people. Who would I be if I really truly forgave my father? Who would I be? And that's where I was. A lot of people, it was my hardest time in sobriety in 21 years. That was the hardest. Some people go through it 5 or 10, 15. I don't believe that God gives me nothing more than me and you and God can't handle it. And I had to, y'all rebuild me enough and said it was time. It's time. And I'm so thankful that I didn't commit suicide and I'm here today. How we doing with time? I don't know.
40.
40?
You're 40 now.
Okay, babe. Thank you. I'm 40. Okay. So, my life has been such an incredible journey. When I was laid up in, my parents bought me a condo because my parents were doing pretty good and they wanted to give me my inheritance, but they really didn't want me to spend the money, so they bought me a condo. And they said, we would rather have you enjoy it while we're still living. And I struggled with that, y'all. I really struggled with that. Because the 20 years before, I was making good money and I was working and I was paying my bills. And when I got really sick with HIV, they said, you want to go on disability? And I said, I'm not disabled. I'm not going to be disabled. And if I thought I would have, I'd have took it. But I decided I just, something inside me, that spirit said, you're not disabled. And I didn't want to take that disability. And I went back to work. And it has been a challenge since 2008, starting over in Alcoholics Anonymous with 21 years of sobriety. And I stand before you. I'm so humbled and honored that y'all had asked me to come out and share my experience. Because now I'm going to talk to the old timer. Baby. No matter what happens. I was depressed. I needed medication. And I was one of these alcoholics. I will share with you. I worked in the mental health field for about 15 years off and on. And the main reason that people come back in there is noncompliance to their medication. And I would watch people in Alcoholics Anonymous, and a lot of times I sit in the back row and I sit real quiet and I listen and I observe. I keep my observer hat on and I hear people and it just makes me crazy, and I have to really wash my tongue and catch them out. And sometimes we get a little violent sometimes in meetings. I don't know if y'all do here in California, but they get crazy in Georgia. Sometimes the chairs get flying across the room. It doesn't happen anymore, but much. But them chairs went flying across the room. And there was these old timers, and God bless you if you're one of them. But somewhere along the line, they said, if you take these antidepressants, you're not sober. And that is not what my big book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the people that I got sober with said. If you need help, get it. I certainly wouldn't go to a hardware store to get a glass of milk. And I am not a doctor, and I don't know about medication, don't want to know. I don't care what you want, it don't matter. But if you need it, take it. If you don't, then don't take it. But don't take it with your doctors. Don't take it by yourself, don't take it. So that doctor, I'll never forget it. It was March 12th, 2008. And that nurse looked at me and she said, do you want to live? Girl, what makes you think that? No, I don't. But I was just too scared to commit suicide again. Here I was 21 years sober. And I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to live. I had lost faith in Alcoholics Anonymous. I was broke. I was penniless. I was jobless. I was almost homeless. It wasn't being for my mom and daddy. And I was guilty because I took that money from them to buy the condo. So I was just all screwed up, and y'all said, baby, you did it to yourself. Oh, we are convinced that a life self will run riot, although I didn't want to admit it. I weighed about 138 pounds. I was so pale and looked so sick. And I was sitting in the psychiatrist's office, and he said, I think you might need some medication. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm an alcoholic. I don't need none of that. No, thank you very much. And he said, Chip, I'm in the program too. He said, you might need this just to jump start your ass. I said, okay. Because I believe that my God works through me and in me. But there's been a lot of times in my life that, in my sobriety, that I thought God moved out of me. I believe that God lives in me, but I think He moved. What happened to you? It's not there. And I couldn't feel it. And y'all said, use my God. Believe that I believe. God didn't move. I moved. And moved and moved and moved. The last year and a half of my life has been so phenomenal. Because I truly understand what it is like to live sober, of sound mind. Oh my God, sound mind. Because y'all have taught me to keep my mouth shut. But if I see an injustice, I better say something. And if I'm going to quote that big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, I better be reading it right. Because that book of Alcoholics Anonymous can hurt me or it can help me. I can beat it over the head with a newcomer, or I can say, look at what it's done for me. And I want to be one of these old timers. I do. I want to be one of these old timers that's got a smile on their face. I don't want to be one of these old timers that says, I am happy. Hey, I'm fine. I'm fine. Girl, if you're so happy, let your face know it. You know, no. I've been miserable enough. And in my home group, I didn't even mention that. My home group is the best home group in the world. We've had enough group of Alcoholics Anonymous in Atlanta, Georgia on Tuesday night. It's considered a straight meeting, but I go there and it's a gay meeting. And we used to be called the young people's meeting, but we had to change the name because we're getting a little older. And you know, in sobriety is such a good thing. We can do anything. Y'all taught me that I can do anything as long as my spirit's right. If I want to go dancing in the bars, baby, go dancing. Don't go dancing by myself, but go dancing if I'm spiritually fit. And spiritually fit does not mean 90 days to me. I don't know exactly how long your spiritually fit was, but it wasn't 90 days because I won. Y'all took me back in the bars, and I just loved it. I still love them. I go out maybe once a month in Atlanta, and it's quite different. I moved home to Atlanta after 9 years of being gone. It's been challenging. Anytime you move in sobriety, if anybody's ever moved in sobriety, y'all know how challenging it is, because those folks that I got sober with, they dead or drunk or don't go to meetings anymore. So they walked in. I walked in. There was a few people. And I was like, y'all just ain't doing it no. Y'all don't do it right no more. What happened? And I had to sit down and shut up. An elder statesman rather than a bleeding deacon. I've been my bleeding deacon. Oh, my God, I've had them days. Y'all don't do it right. Let me show you how to do it. I'm going to tell you how to do it. You need to be the intergroup. You need to be the GSR. You need to do all this. I have learned, and y'all have taught me, and the other fellowship of Al-Anon has taught me to keep my mouth shut, and when I'm asked, I say something. I heard something the other day. Somebody said, I pray to be asked. But, so, girl, let me tell you, I pray to be asked. Y'all just... And how I feel about my family today, you know, when I got here, I hated a lot of people. I did. And I don't have hate in my heart today. I don't like violence. I don't live in a violent home. I live at peace. And most of the time in my home group, they said, you're always smiling. You're always smiling. I said, baby, if you knew what I've been through, you'd be smiling too. Because we made it through. You and me and God. Nothing me and you and God can't handle. I certainly thank y'all. This has been a wonderful... Y'all do good out here in California. Y'all do good. And if you're ever in Atlanta, come to the We've Had Enough group. The best home group in the world. I am just amazed at how my life has changed. And newcomer, baby, hold on for the ride. It's the ride of your life. The best years are about you in the future. This is a good day. This is a good day. Because I'm sober, and I didn't drink, and I didn't use, and y'all helped me through it. And there's nothing. I used to compare myself real quick, and then I'll shut up. It's time to go. I used to compare myself with y'all people, and y'all told me, y'all kept on telling me, baby, don't compare. Don't compare. Because if you compare, it's like I'm judging my insides with your outsides. I don't know what you've been through. Because I was never, I'll tell y'all, I never compared myself to somebody less than me. I always compared myself less than you. Because I was less than you. And I'm not. I'm a worker among workers. I'm an alcoholic among alcoholics. I'm just another bozo on the bus trying to stay sober. And y'all told me when I got here real quick, and I'll shut up. It doesn't matter how the jackass got in the ditch, baby. Just get him out of the ditch. Thank y'all.